My name is Jacques. In the lesson today, I'm going to talk about network and sharing center and other applications that are needed to configure a network. For the physical part of a network, it is very easy because all you need is the computing device you want to network. You need a switch to establish a physical connection between the node and the network. You need cable to connect the node to the network, or in the case of a wireless network, you need a wireless access point to establish the connection with the network. Then you need a router, and the role of the router is to establish connection from your network to remote network or to a ISP provider. Most of the router is include a DHCP server. This is the device that will assign an IP address to every node in the network. When we talk about node in networking, any computer, any printer, anything that you connect to a network is a node. So for the physical connection of the network, it's easy, although sometimes it might take a lot of work to make sure you run cable from one floor to another floor or from one room to another room. However, when you finish to build the physical structure of the network, you will need to configure the network. That means you're going to configure the appropriate client, the appropriate protocol, and make sure you configure all the service your network is going to provide. In the software side of a network, they have the client, they have the protocol, and they have the service. So in this lesson, I expect you to learn about the different tools and utilities of network and sharing center. But before I do that, I have to explain you how to access the network and sharing center. You can access the network and sharing center applet from control panel. So if you click on control panel and you click on internet and network connection, that will bring you to the dialog box when you can select network and sharing center. So in network sharing center, you can find how to access adapter properly, how to change adapter setting, how to configure IP address, how to configure a variety of internet connection. And this is what we want to accomplish in this presentation. Most of those things these days happen by default. Most Ethernet, most local area network, and Wi-Fi network use dynamic IP address. What that means? They obtain the IP address automatically from a DHCP server that is included in the router. So the ISP provider will put a pool of IP address available for your network, and the DHCP server will allocate an IP address to any device that you connect to the network. When you connect a computer to a network, all of the client, the IP address, the subnet mask, the DNS server, all of those configurations are done automatically. You don't have to do anything. But this is the case where you use the dynamic IP address. But in case where for one of the equipment or for a segment of the network, you want to use static IP address, you will have to configure all the node manually. So this is the reason why I'm going to teach you what is the process and where to go to configure static IP address. So as a reminder, let me explain you the difference between dynamic and static IP address. I said it many different times. A static IP address is an IP address that you buy from the ISP provider, or sometimes the static IP address can come with a device, such as a camera. You can buy a camera and the static IP address already integrate in the chip in this camera. In this case, you have to use that static IP address. There are a lot of other devices that come the same way with a static IP address. However, most devices will obtain the IP address automatically from a DHCP server. So, why network and sharing center is so important? The network and sharing center is located on the network and internet. This feature can be found in any version of Windows. The network and sharing center never change. It remains the same in all versions of Windows, regardless is Windows 7, Windows 8, or Windows 10. But for network and internet, sometimes you can see a little change. But if you go to control panel or setting in Windows 10, so Windows 10 does not use control panel, they use setting, and Windows 7 use control panel. However, if you want to use control panel in Windows 10, you still can go to the search and type control panel, because Windows 10 carry a lot of options of Windows 7, including control panel. So I said in Windows 7, you go to control panel, and in Windows 10, you go to setting. And this is where you will find network and internet. You click on it, you will find a lot of applets, but the applet that we are concerned for this lesson is the network and sharing center. So when you click on network sharing center, among many other applications, you can view network status and tasks. There is a link that will bring you to network status and task. There is another link that will bring you to connect to a network. There is a link that will bring you to view network computers and devices. You can change the adapter setting, but in Windows 10, they don't call it adapter setting. They have another name. You're going to learn this in that lesson. You can set up home group and internet option. You can change the networking settings. You can troubleshooting networks. You can set up new connection. So there are a variety of applications you can use to configure network and network sharing. We talk about the adapter properly. So in network sharing, if you look at in the left, you will see change adapter setting. If you click on it, so there you can uninstall, install, deactivate, or configure protocol or other service as needed. So when you click on change adapter setting, the adapter sheet will open, and you can go over it to find out which one you want to change, which one you want to activate. So first, you go to change adapter setting. Then you click on advanced setting. This is where you're going to find the list. And in Windows 7, in the network In sharing applet, you click on change adapter setting, but in Windows 8, the same applet is called manage network connection. And in Windows 10, they call it change adapter option. So regardless you see change adapter setting in Windows 7 or manage network connection in Windows 8 or change adapter option, they all will do the same thing. But in each version of Windows, Microsoft choose to give it another name, which create a little bit of confusion and make it very difficult for learner. But by repeating that, by going over it all the time, you will be able to remember what is the change, what is the new name, the new label they choose for those very important options. Now, in Windows 7, the wired network will be labeled as local area network, and the wireless adapter will be labeled as wireless network connection. So when you click on change adapter setting or manage network connection or change adapter option, you will see the adapter setting sheet. But the other term that will be different depending on the version Windows is term like local area connection. So wired network are labeled as local area connection, and the wireless adapter is labeled as wireless network connection. However, in Windows 10 and Windows 8, the adapters are called simply Ethernet, and the wireless is called Wi-Fi. However, Ethernet means local area connection. Wi-Fi is the wireless connection. So the change is just simplified. Instead of saying a big phrase, you say one word to say the same thing you would have said if you just say Ethernet or Wi-Fi. Then the next thing you will do, you right click on it and you select properties. So as I show you in the picture, then we're going to do the practice as a lab. Now, in adapter properties, when you right click on it, you choose properties, the sheet will open and you will see all the properties where you can configure setting, you can view information about connection, you can add or configure a service, a protocol, or client. So you can select one of those services and you click on configure to change the configuration or to add the appropriate configuration that you need for the best operation of your network. By default, all machines or all nodes are configured to obtain the IP address automatically from the DHCP server. And in the case where you have to enter the IP address, this is not only the IP address, because in order for an IP address to work, there are other parameters that need to be configured, such as the subnet mask, the DNS, and the gateway. So not only you need to have your IP address, but you need to have the gateway number, you need to have the subnet mask, you need to have the DNS. Now, as you can see on the right hand side on the picture, it said obtain an IP address automatically. This is the best way to configure computers on a network. However, if it's a static IP address, you will have to enter those information manually. For that reason, this is not a technique you can use in a huge network, because it will take a long time to go to every machine to configure them manually. Now, most network connect to the internet using a solo router. This device combines a 4-port switch, a wireless access point, and a DHCP server. Probably the one you have in your house, this is the same thing. You will see there are 4-port, which is a switch, and they have antenna on it, and a DHCP server that is inside. So you don't see the other component, but the 4-port switch, you will see them. If you have many computers, like in the case of a business, you will have to connect a switch to the router. But in case if you have 2 or 3 computers, you can connect them directly to the router. And all the wireless node you have in the network will connect directly to the router using the wireless access point that is integrated inside the router. So to set up a network connection, still in Network and Sharing Center, you will click on View Network Status and Tasks. Then in the View Network Status and Tasks, you click on Set up a new connection. Then you choose the connection that you want. There are many connections, but one of them I'm going to talk now. It's about the connection to the wireless phone service. So T-Mobile, Verizon, a lot of wireless service now, they offer internet service for your computer. All you have to do is to install the software. But most of those internet service providers use 3G or 4G. So the speed or the bandwidth of your internet connection will depend on the type of adapter that you buy and the software that you install. The only thing you have to do is to install the software that the vendor sends with the device. And when you finish, all the configuration will be done automatically. The only thing you have to do is to connect your adapter and you are online. So this is a very nice technology that allows everyone to go everywhere with your internet connection. The other connection is dial-up. Dial-up is when you dial a server to access the internet. So the device that you want to access the internet with must have a modem. And the server you're going to call to provide you with the internet service must have a modem. So the modem from your computer will call the remote server from your internet service provider to establish a connection. And you will not believe it, a lot of regions in the United States, this is the only way you can access the internet, or by satellite. There are another connection is virtual private network. It's like when you create a channel on the internet to connect with your workplace. If you want to set up a VPN connection from the Network and Sharing Center, you click on Set up a new connection and you select VPN. As I said earlier, in order to configure Network and Sharing Center is the best place to go, because it combines a lot of applications that allow you to change settings and to set up connection. And I said, in order to access Network and Sharing Center, there are 2 ways you can do that. First, you can do that to control panel or setting, or in the notification area right here. You see the wireless icon. If I right click on it, it will give me open network and internet setting. So if it was Windows 7, it will say open network and internet connection. So now I click here and it's open the network and internet setting. And as I was saying earlier, Windows 10 label the internet connection Wi-Fi and the wired connection Ethernet. So this is network and internet. And now if I go to change adapter setting, in Windows 8 it will say change adapter setting, but as you can see here in Windows 10 it says change adapter option. So if I click here on change adapter option, it displays to me all of the connection. First is the Ethernet network cable, the cable connection. There is a virtual network that I create. And the third one is the Wi-Fi network. So now I'm going to select the adapter that I want to work with. Let me select this adapter here, and I right click on the adapter and I choose properly. So now the properly open, and that's the properly sheet. If it was on Windows 7, I will have to click on advanced. So for all of you who are doing this practice using Windows 7, you will have to click on advanced to see all of this service or this protocol that you can use. I already go over most of those protocols, but let's look at IP protocol version 4. This is the protocol I will use if I want to set up a static IP address. So I select that protocol and I will go to properties. This is very important. So if you want to configure IP address manually, you have to select the IP version 4 and you click on properties. So this is about adapter setting, and as you can see, there are a lot of other protocols you can play around, such as quality of service. Whatever the protocol, the client or the service, you can find all of them in the adapter setting. So you can do those practice at home. If for a reason your computer cannot connect to the internet, or you cannot see a computer to the network, you can go here to run the application that will indicate whether or not you have a problem and where the problem is, and sometimes the problem can be fixed at the same time. Let's click on Network and Sharing Center. You remember we talked a lot about Network and Sharing Center. I said you can find Network and Sharing Center in Control Panel, and you can find it in on the setting in Windows 10. In Sharing Center, as you can see, display the network like we did before. If you look at here, you will see set up a new connection. So if you want to set up a new connection, this is where you go. When you go to Network and Sharing Center, You see set up a new connection or a network. You click on it. So you can set up a new network. You can manually connect a wireless network, or you can connect to a workplace. So if you want to connect to a wireless network, you click here. If you want to set up a new network, you click here. If you want to connect to the workplace, create a VPN, you click here and you click next. VPN is virtual private network. So if you want to use your internet connection and use a virtual private network, you can click here. Or if you want to create a connection using a dial-up modem, you click here. So if you click here, create a virtual network, you have to give the internet address of the server you want to call. You have to give the name of the destination and your username and password ready, and you will create a virtual private network, which is very secure. And most business, this is what they do. They create within the internet a tunnel called virtual private network for their communication to send data or to retrieve data from the server. And you can see the same change adapter setting we were using. It is part of the network and sharing center. And they have a change advanced sharing where you will set up your computer to be discovered by the network. You can have a computer on the network and other computer cannot see it. This is a problem you're going to see all the time. People will call you, they cannot see my computer, or I cannot see a computer on the network. So in order for computer to see you in the network, you have to go here and activate turn on network discovery, or your computer will be there, nobody will see it. Like if I click here, turn off network discovery, nobody will be able to see my computer. Turn on file and printer sharing, which is a good one. Like if I go here, I turn off. I think they should have put that by default, because this is one thing that you have to do for your computer to make sure people cannot share your file, is to turn off file and printer sharing. So once you turn this option off, no one will be able to share your file. This is something you can do on Network and Sharing Center. So if you have Windows 7, you can find that on the control panel. And even if you have Windows 10, as I said before, Windows 10 carry all the options of Windows 7. It's like an upgrade to Windows 7. So as you can see, that computer has Windows 10. But I just type control panel. Here is the control panel that you are all familiar in Windows 7. If I go here, network and internet, I will find the same thing, network and sharing center. So there are many ways you can access these wonderful tools that will allow you to configure your network, to add option or to remove option. This is network and sharing center. So I want you to review the presentation. I want you to review the video, and then I want you to start practice from your own computer. So this is where we stop with that presentation, and another one will come soon. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for using your time to learn new technology. And I'm glad to teach you. If you have any question, go to the virtual classroom and ask your question. We will be happy to help you. Thank you.